Hello, third grade families. Whether you are viewing this video morning, noon, or night, we welcome you to our virtual curriculum night. We have prepared this video to provide you with information to support our partnership, ensuring a successful third grade year for your child. In this video, we will provide you with an overview of our curriculum and what your student will learn this year. We will let you know about district and state required assessments of learning. You will learn about the special schedule and how to contact our wonderful specials teachers. Many of our students will be joining orchestra for the first time this year and will share information about orchestra classes. You'll learn about technology tools we will be using this year. And finally, we will review the responsibilities we all share to ensure success for your child as a remote learner. The information we are sharing is what we know to be true now. If there is anything we can be certain about, it is that we will need to continue to adapt and change because we are committed to meeting our students' needs. As information changes, be assured we will keep you informed. Today you will hear from each member of our third grade remote learning team: Sarah Brannick, Christine Glassmeyer, Jenny Iwanski, Christine Kramer, Jackie Lucci, and Samantha Matalonis. Your students will be hearing all of our voices too, as we collaborate and share lessons for our remote learners. Before we begin our grade level presentation, here is a word from your child's teacher.
Hi parents, I'm Mrs. Glassmeyer, and I am teaching your children this year. I wanted to tell you just a little bit about myself. This is my 27th year teaching overall, hard to believe. I've spent 22 years teaching in St. Charles, third grade. Every year prior to this year at Munn Hall in third grade. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity this year to teach students remotely. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I grew up in St. Charles. I attended Wild Rose, then went on to Thompson Junior High at the time. Now it's Thompson Middle School. Then after high school, I went on to St. Mary's College across the street from Notre Dame. So I'm a big, huge Irish fan. And then I did receive my master's from NIU out in DeKalb. Some of you may have heard your kids talk about Mrs. Glassmeyer having a bathtub if she was in person. Yes, there is a bathtub, a cast iron one in my classroom. I inherited that from my former fourth grade teacher at Wild Rose when she was getting ready to retire. I said, Mrs. Casserly, what are you going to do with your bathtub? She goes, well, I don't know. Do you want it? So the kids at Wild Rose cried, and the kids at Munn Hall cheered because bathtub came to our classroom. I am privileged and excited to be able to live in the same town in which I teach. We've been here for 8 years now, my husband and I. We have 2 children, Joey, who is an 8th grader at Thompson, Abby, who is a 6th grader. And it's just coincidental. Joey has my former 8th grade science teacher this year, and it's her last year when she retires. So who knows, someday that may happen with your children as well, make it a grandchild. So I just wanted to let you know I am super excited to have your kids in my class this year. I'm looking forward to the opportunities that we get to learn on this journey together. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Hi parents, I wanted to let you quickly know the best way to communicate with me really is through email. I try to check that in the morning. If I have time, I'll check it at lunch. And then for sure at the end of the day. And then as needed, if I'm trying to communicate with you for things that I see that are going on that I need your assistance with. My email address is christine.glassmeyer@d303.org. I will try to get back with you within 24 to 48 hours. If you haven't heard from me, if you haven't heard back from me, please go ahead and just send me another email. I'll be like, hey, Mrs. Glassmeyer, we get tons of emails every day, and so sometimes things get pushed way down. Our weekly schedule does get put out into our Google Classroom. Usually I've been putting it on Saturdays, but for sure by that Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And I can also try sending that out through an email. And the other way is I will be sending out communication to you through emails. So if you have any questions, let me know. So what will your third graders be learning this year and be assessed on? Over the next 3 slides, you will be looking at the report card indicators for third grade. Not all indicators will be assessed for each trimester. In reading this year, your children will have an in-depth study of both fiction and nonfiction, using a variety of resources through both whole class and small group instruction. The 3 modes of writing we cover this year are narrative, informational, and opinion writing. Students will demonstrate that they can take pieces of writing through the writing process. The major content in math that will be our main focus this year includes developing understanding of multiplication and division and strategies for multiplication and division within 100. Also, developing understanding of fractions, especially unit fractions, fractions with a numerator of 1, and developing understanding of the structure of rectangular arrays and of area. And lastly, describing and analyzing two-dimensional shapes. Our science focus for first trimester is our weather and climate unit. In the second trimester, we will be doing stability and motion, science of flight, and stability and motion, forces and interactions. Our third trimester science focus is life and survival in ecosystems. In social studies this year, the themes that we will be covering include cultural diversity, power of the people, and world trade. The right-hand column shows how students will be assessed this year. This is an overview of the major assessments your child will be doing this year. IAR is the state test that assesses where students are at in both reading and math. The Colgate assessment, taken in November, is usually over 3 days and is one piece of determining advanced placement for reading and math in 4th grade. iReady is the diagnostic test for reading and math. It helps to determine what students already know and gives practice to move them forward in their learning. It will also be able to show growth between testing periods. The on-demand writing shows growth from pre- and post-writing pieces. Formative assessments in subjects help to guide our instruction, and summative assessments are given at the end of a unit or module to assess what students have learned.
It is our goal this year in our third grade classrooms to build climates of trust, academic growth, and a positive social environment for your child to thrive. In order to do this, we will not only focus on academics, but also on supporting students' social emotional learning as well. When we talk about social emotional learning, we are referring to the standards adopted in Illinois by the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, also known as CASEL. These standards are organized into 5 areas: self-awareness, which is the ability to accurately recognize one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how they influence behavior; social awareness, defined as the ability to take perspectives and empathize with others, including those from diverse backgrounds and cultures; responsible decision-making; self-management, or the ability to successfully regulate one's emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in different learning situations, and effectively manage stress, controlling impulses, and motivating oneself; and of course, relationship skills. One of the ways we will work to address these skills is through explicit lessons taught to students through a structure we call morning meetings. Morning meetings may look different based on your child's individual teacher and also student needs. Morning meetings may include an opportunity for students to be greeted by the teacher and/or students in the class, an opportunity for students to share about themselves and what makes them unique. This may also include a response to a prompt or an image to help students think and reflect. Sometimes there's a group activity where students go through an experience together, whether it's a game or a read aloud or some type of learning experience, with a reflection at the end. And then there's typically a morning message from the teacher to students, which sets a positive tone for the day ahead. This experience is usually something students really enjoy because they get an opportunity to socialize with their peers in a non-academic environment.
A weekly schedule is communicated before 8 a.m. on Monday each week by your child's teacher. That will indicate the synchronous and asynchronous time for instruction for the week. During an asynchronous session, we are working on developing norms and expectations for students as they participate. Some of these include: we are asking students to be present in front of the camera. We are teaching students to use the features to appropriately participate. One of the tools students are very excited about is the chat feature. We are continuing to encourage students to use this tool to participate in learning appropriately. We are asking students to have their mic muted unless told otherwise by the teacher. During asynchronous sessions, we are working on developing norms and expectations for students to develop strong learner characteristics. Some of these include: we are asking students to be working on time management and to grow their independent work habits with practice by working on their assignments during the asynchronous time given and knowing when it is time to come back to asynchronous time or to move on to another assignment.
All third grade remote learners will have specials this year. Their special schedule will depend on their third grade teacher. Each teacher was assigned a specific time each day for specials. The child's classroom teacher will specify in their weekly schedule what time their art, music, LRC, and physical education classes are. They will also include whether those classes are synchronous or asynchronous. For asynchronous assignments, their instructor will have a Google site or a Google Classroom that your child will go to complete their assignment. During synchronous learning, it will be whole group instruction led by your specialist teacher. Third grade also has the opportunity to participate in orchestra. If your child is interested in joining, please contact their home school. Please keep in mind that this program is completely voluntary. It will be the student's responsibility to make up the assignments that they missed during class. Instructors and times will vary depending on the school that your child attends.
We will be using Google Classroom as our main learning platform this year. Google Classroom is a classroom management system designed to help teachers and students communicate and collaborate, manage assignments paperlessly, and stay organized. As you may have already seen these past couple of weeks, we as teachers can create classes, post announcements and reminders, distribute and collect assignments, access student work, and provide direct, real-time feedback and grades all in one place. Assignments can be found under the Classwork tab in Google Classroom. Because Google Classroom incorporates Google's core G Suite, students have access to the Google tools they need for class, including Gmail, Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Meet, just to name a few. These apps can all be found in the waffle, or the 9 squares in the top right corner of their screen. It is worth noting that all of your child's work is automatically saved and conveniently stored in their Google Drive. While our main learning platform will be Google Classroom, we will utilize other apps and websites to differentiate, support, and enhance learning. Many of these are integrated with Google Classroom and include the ones seen here. You may also see your child using district subscriptions to sites such as the following.
Much of the information you're receiving is the typical third grade curriculum information. You've also been hearing about some new priorities and commitments that we are implementing to support the remote learning environment. These are part of the D303 reopening plan, which can be found on the District 303 website. In addition, the D303 reopening plan identifies student and family responsibilities in remote learning. Our students have shown such enthusiasm and respect for their new learning environment. Here are highlights of student responsibilities according to the D303 reopening plan. Remote students will communicate during their learning, participating in small groups and in conferences with the teacher. Students will engage and participate in all assignments and assessments, completing them on time. Students will maintain a routine to organize their learning and demonstrate appropriate online etiquette. Finally, students will ask for support as needed. Your support during these first few weeks of school has been so appreciated. Here are highlights of the family responsibilities according to the D303 reopening plan. Contact your home school to report absences. And of course, keep reading all of our emails and communications to stay informed. Engage in conversations about your students' learning. Support your child to complete missing assignments, which will be communicated to you via email. Review the D303 remote learning plan. Notify school staff with concerns or the need for additional support. And finally, students will benefit from your support in following a daily routine and ensuring they have an appropriate space for their learning. Thank you for your attention during this presentation. We are looking forward to our partnership with you this year. We will see you Thursday night during our live virtual session. Make sure to look at your emails for information on how to join us.